Want to exude a kind of strength men feel before they even know you? This isn't about looks or attitude, it's about the quiet power that Sigma women carry, that magnetic mix of calm, control and mystery that men can't stop noticing. If that sounds like you, keep watching. Strong women don't talk about their strength, they live it. They walk into a room and somehow, without saying a word, everything changes. Men notice it instantly, not because she's loud, but because she's rare. And the truth? Sigma women are built differently. They lead from silence, they move with grace. And even when they're still, they hold power. But here's the thing, most people don't get them. Some think they're cold, others call them too much. But deep down, these women know. Being misunderstood is just part of being magnetic. Society keeps trying to label strong women as intimidating, hard to love, or impossible to please. But what men actually notice are the things she never says out loud, the things she doesn't need to explain. That's what we're talking about today. The 9 secrets strong women never admit, but men always notice. Here we go. 1. Her calm under pressure. When everything goes wrong, she doesn't lose it. Men see that, and it shakes them, because calm is power. When chaos hits, a Sigma female doesn't panic. She doesn't raise her voice or scramble for control. She slows down, breathes, and handles things with quiet precision. It's not that she doesn't feel fear. It's that she's learned fear doesn't fix anything. She's the kind of woman who's been through storms and still walks out looking like she never got wet. That's not luck, that's discipline. Men notice that when everything falls apart, she doesn't look for someone to save her. She becomes her own anchor. She's not cold, she's composed. And that difference is magnetic. Most people lose themselves under stress. They yell, complain, or break down, but a Sigma female knows emotions are visitors, not permanent residents. She feels them, respects them, then sets them aside to do what needs to be done. That kind of control doesn't come easy. It comes from nights when she cried quietly, but still showed up the next morning like nothing could shake her. Men sense that strength before she even says a word. It's in her body language, her tone, her stillness. She doesn't overreact, she doesn't beg, she doesn't try to prove she's strong, she just is. Her calm makes others calm. It creates safety, and safety is rare. That's why men remember her long after she's gone. They can't quite explain it, but they know they felt something steady in her presence, something grounding. She's the woman who can walk into chaos and somehow make everyone breathe easier. That's leadership, not dominance. It's strength wrapped in grace. When people push her buttons, she doesn't give them the satisfaction of reaction. She knows reacting gives away power, so she waits, she observes. She responds when it matters, not when emotions demand it. That drives people crazy, especially men who expect drama. But she's not playing that game. She knows energy is currency, and she spends hers wisely. Her calm isn't just emotional control, it's strategy. She understands that panic clouds judgment and fear fuels mistakes. So she trains herself to pause, to think, to act with clarity. Men see that and feel both challenged and intrigued. They're used to women seeking comfort in crisis, not becoming the comfort itself. And that difference changes everything. She's not emotionless. She's emotionally intelligent. She's not detached. She's deeply aware. She knows when to speak, when to stay silent, and when to walk away without explanation. That's what makes her unforgettable. She's proof that power doesn't have to be loud, that softness and control can coexist, that silence can speak louder than shouting. Men might not always understand it, but they can't ignore it. A Sigma female's calm tells a story of resilience, of patience, of quiet rebellion. It says she's been through enough to know that panic never helps, and peace is her secret weapon. That's why men find her mysterious. They wonder how she stays so centered, how she doesn't crumble under pressure. But the truth is simple. She's mastered herself, and that's the kind of strength that no one can fake. 2. A Sigma female never chases attention. A Sigma female lets her energy do the talking. Men notice the woman who doesn't need validation because it makes them want hers. She doesn't crave the spotlight. She doesn't post every emotion online or try to prove how happy she is. She's comfortable being unseen because she knows her value doesn't depend on who's watching. She doesn't walk into a room hoping to be noticed. She walks in already knowing she belongs there. That quiet confidence changes everything. It's the kind of presence that speaks before words do. Men pick up on that right away. They see how she carries herself. Not trying too hard, not performing, just existing in full self-assurance, and that's what gets their attention. The irony is, she's not even trying. She doesn't flirt for validation or dress for approval. She dresses for herself, talks for herself, moves for herself. There's something magnetic about someone who doesn't need external applause. A Sigma female doesn't fish for compliments because she already knows who she is. She's done the inner work. She's built a sense of self-worth that no one else can give or take away. That's what sets her apart from the crowd. She doesn't chase, she attracts. And not because she's manipulative, but because her energy is self-contained. She's not desperate for likes, views, or attention. She doesn't need a man to remind her she's beautiful or capable. She already knows. She's the woman who can walk away from attention because she knows attention doesn't equal respect. Men sense that immediately. It flips the script. They're used to women who try to impress them, but a Sigma female makes them want to impress her. That's the twist. She gives off that rare energy that says, I'm complete, with or without you, and that's the kind of challenge that drives men crazy. It's not arrogance, it's peace. She's not rejecting attention, she just doesn't depend on it. She understands that being noticed isn't the same as being valued, and she'd rather be valued quietly than noticed loudly. That's her power. She doesn't compete with other women for validation. She celebrates them, but she doesn't compare herself. She's too busy living on her own frequency. When people chase fame, she chases growth. When others need to be seen, she's mastering her silence. Men watch that, and they can't figure it out. They see her smile, calm and collected, and wonder what makes her so grounded. Why doesn't she need the world's approval? Because she's already met herself. She knows what she brings to the table, and she's not afraid to eat alone if needed. That independence makes her unforgettable. She's the type who can turn heads without moving a muscle, just by existing fully in her truth. She knows the loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. She doesn't speak to be heard, she speaks to be understood, and if she's misunderstood, she doesn't explain. Her energy does that for her. That's what men notice most, the stillness that commands more attention than noise ever could. Because when a Sigma female walks away from validation, she walks straight into power, and that's what makes her impossible to forget. 3. Her silence speaks volumes. She doesn't argue to prove she's right. She knows what she knows. And that quiet confidence, it's intoxicating. A Sigma female understands that silence is her greatest weapon. She doesn't waste energy trying to convince people of her worth or defend herself against small minds. She knows that truth doesn't need defending. It just needs time. Her silence unsettles people because most can't stand stillness. They fill it with noise, excuses, explanations. But she doesn't need to. She's already said enough by saying nothing at all. When someone tries to provoke her, she doesn't bite back. She observes, lets them speak, and keeps her calm. That kind of restraint takes power. Men notice that instantly. They feel that quiet force behind her eyes, the unspoken message that says, I don't owe you my reaction. And that's what keeps them hooked, because her silence isn't emptiness, it's control. She's not afraid of pauses or distance. She uses them intentionally. Her stillness creates space for others to reveal themselves, and they always do. People rush to fill the silence, to gain her approval, to earn her attention. But she stays centered, unbothered, grounded in her truth. She doesn't gossip, she doesn't overshare, and she doesn't argue to be seen as smart. She lets her results speak instead. That calm, measured energy makes her unforgettable. She knows that the loudest voice rarely wins. It just distracts. Meanwhile, she wins through presence, through the gravity she carries even in silence. Men feel that. They might talk over her in a conversation, But later, they can't stop thinking about her eyes, her composure, the way she didn't flinch. Her silence lingers longer than any argument could, because silence, when owned, becomes sound. It becomes confidence, clarity, and mystery all at once. A Sigma female doesn't need to prove she's right because she doesn't seek validation. She's too self-aware for that. She knows her truth stands whether someone agrees or not. That's what makes her so powerful. She doesn't react from ego, only from wisdom. When people misunderstand her calm, she lets them. That's not her problem. She's not here to manage perceptions. She's here to live in alignment. Her silence says, "Believe what you want. I'm still me." And that's something men can't decode. It challenges them. They're used to women filling silence with reassurance, but she doesn't give that comfort. She makes them sit with the unknown, and in that they realize her depth. She's not quiet because she's weak. She's quiet because she's thinking. She's watching, learning, deciding whether the situation deserves her energy. That's emotional maturity, and it's rare. She knows words can't fix everything, but presence can. So she stays present, strong, steady. Her silence becomes her language, one only the wise can understand. It says she's confident enough not to fight every battle, secure enough not to chase every misunderstanding, and peaceful enough to let the noise pass through her. That's why her silence speaks louder than anyone's words. It tells a story of discipline, of strength earned through self-awareness, and of a mind that's not easily disturbed. And that quiet confidence? It doesn't just draw men in, it disarms them. If you're still here, I already know you get it. You're not just watching, you're one of those women who feels this truth. So do me a favor, hit that like button right now. It tells YouTube there are still women out here who choose power over noise. All right, let's move to the next one. This one's deep. 4. A Sigma female values solitude. A Sigma female can spend hours alone without feeling lonely. Men find that mysterious, because most people can't handle their own company, but Sigma females thrive in it. She doesn't see being alone as a punishment, she sees it as a privilege. Her solitude is where she recharges, where she reconnects with herself without the noise of the world. A Sigma female doesn't need constant interaction or validation to feel alive. She's learned that silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. She uses her alone time to think, to create, to dream, to breathe. Most people fill their days with distractions, terrified of their own thoughts, but she walks straight into them and finds peace there. That's why her energy feels different. It's grounded, whole, and untouched by desperation. Men notice that immediately. There's something magnetic about a woman who's comfortable in her own space. She doesn't need anyone to complete her because she's already complete. Her solitude teaches her independence, and her independence builds her power. When she's alone, she's not scrolling endlessly or seeking attention. She's reflecting, building, planning, becoming better. She enjoys her coffee in silence, takes long walks by herself, reads, writes, thinks. And in those quiet moments, she grows stronger. Men can sense that depth. It confuses and attracts them. They're used to people who chase attention, not those who glow from within. A Sigma female's solitude is sacred. She protects it like a treasure. She's selective about who gets to enter her world, and that makes her presence even more valuable. She doesn't fear being alone because she knows she's her own safest place. That self-security is what sets her apart. She's not hiding from the world, she's preparing for it. She knows solitude isn't isolation, it's alignment. It's the space where she listens to her intuition and builds her next move. While others fear quiet, she thrives in it. That's where her power blooms. Her thoughts become clearer, her emotions balanced, her spirit calm, and that calm becomes her signature. Men notice it when they're around her, how she doesn't rush to fill silence, how she seems at ease even when no one's talking. It's not arrogance, it's self-possession. She's learned that peace doesn't come from people, but from presence. She knows that being alone doesn't mean being unloved. It means being unshaken. She'd rather be alone than surrounded by fake energy. That's her standard, and that standard makes men step up, because they realize she won't settle for half effort or half love. She's used to giving herself everything she needs: attention, care, fulfillment. So when someone wants to be with her, it has to add peace, not chaos. That's why men find her so intriguing. She's not running from loneliness. She's mastered it. She's not avoiding people. She's choosing herself first. A Sigma female's solitude is her sanctuary, her power source, her quiet revolution. It's where she learns, heals, and remembers who she is. And that's the mystery men can't solve. How she can be so content, so radiant, and so powerful, all by herself. 5. Her boundaries are non-negotiable. She's kind, but she's not a doormat. She'll walk away before she begs to be understood. And that level of self-respect, men always notice. A Sigma female doesn't let anyone cross the line she's drawn for herself. She knows exactly what she stands for and what she won't tolerate. She's polite, yes, but she's firm. She doesn't raise her voice to prove a point. Her silence and actions do that for her. Her boundaries aren't walls, they're filters. They don't keep love out, they keep chaos out. She's spent years learning that peace is priceless, and protecting it isn't selfish, it's smart. She doesn't explain her boundaries over and over, because she knows people who truly respect her will never need to be reminded. Men see that strength and feel both challenged and intrigued. They realize she can't be manipulated with guilt or flattery. She's the kind of woman who can care deeply but still say no without hesitation. That's power, the quiet kind that doesn't demand attention but commands respect. She's not afraid of losing people because she's already lost versions of herself trying to please others. That's how she learned the value of limits. She'll give love, but not at the cost of her sanity. She'll help, but not if it drains her. She's kind, but she's not naive. She knows that kindness without boundaries turns into self-betrayal, and she refuses to betray herself ever again. When someone tests her limits, she doesn't argue or beg to be understood. She simply steps back. Her absence becomes the consequence. No drama, no explanation, just distance. That's how you know her boundaries are real. She doesn't threaten to leave, she leaves. Men aren't used to that. They're used to people bending, apologizing, shrinking to keep peace. But she doesn't play that game. She knows real peace comes from staying true to yourself, not from pleasing everyone around you. That kind of self-respect radiates from her. It's in the way she says no, softly but firmly. In the way she walks away without anger. In the way she chooses dignity over validation. Men notice that and feel the difference. It's rare to meet someone who loves without losing themselves. She's not cold, she's clear, she's not distant, she's disciplined. She knows love means nothing if it costs her self-worth, so she guards that worth like it's sacred. Her energy is selective because she knows not everyone deserves access. She's not impressed by attention, she's impressed by consistency. She values effort, honesty, and respect above all else. And if those are missing, she doesn't argue. She exits gracefully. That's what makes her unforgettable. Men remember the woman who had the courage to walk away quietly rather than beg to be seen. She teaches everyone around her that boundaries aren't barriers. They're standards. And those standards protect everything she's built. Her peace, her purpose, her power. That's the beauty of a Sigma female's boundaries. They remind the world that kindness without limits isn't love. It's self-neglect. And that's a lesson every man notices, even if he learns it the hard way. 6. A Sigma female listens more than she talks. While others rush to speak, Sigma females observe. And when a Sigma female finally says something, it hits different. She doesn't need to dominate the conversation to prove her intelligence. She already knows that wisdom comes from understanding, not from noise. A Sigma female studies people quietly. She catches what others miss. The tone, the hesitation, the truth hidden between words. She doesn't interrupt or try to one-up anyone. She lets them talk, watching the way their eyes move, the way their energy shifts. She knows silence gives people room to reveal who they really are. That's her secret power. Men notice it immediately because they feel seen, not just heard. There's something rare about someone who listens with full presence, who doesn't just wait for their turn to speak. A Sigma female does exactly that. She listens to understand, not to respond, and that's what makes her words carry so much weight. When she finally speaks, it's deliberate, measured, calm, and honest. She doesn't talk to fill the silence. She talks when she has something meaningful to say. That's why when she speaks, people listen. Men are drawn to that energy because it's grounded. It's not performance, it's truth. She doesn't gossip, doesn't overshare, and doesn't use words carelessly. She knows every word has power, so she chooses them wisely. That restraint sets her apart in a world addicted to noise. Her silence isn't shyness, it's strategy. She's observing, connecting dots, understanding patterns. Her attention to detail is unmatched. She can read a room within seconds, sensing tension or authenticity without anyone saying a word. That emotional intelligence gives her an edge. Men can feel that awareness when they're around her. It's like she already knows what they're going to say before they do. Her calm, watchful presence can be intimidating to some, but magnetic to others. Because deep down, everyone craves to be understood. And that's what a Sigma female offers. She understands without needing to explain. She can make someone feel safe with just a look or a single line, and when she does speak, her words cut through the noise. They're precise, thoughtful, often hitting the exact spot people try to hide. She doesn't waste breath convincing others. She simply tells the truth softly but firmly. That makes her unforgettable. She's not the loudest voice in the room, but she's always the one people remember. Men notice the way she listens, the patience in her eyes, the calm in her energy, the intelligence behind her silence. They realize her quiet isn't emptiness. It's awareness, it's focus, it's power. She's not trying to be mysterious. She just doesn't give away everything. She values her words like currency and spends them with intention. That's why every sentence she says lands differently. It holds weight, emotion, and wisdom. Her voice doesn't need volume to make an impact. It's the depth behind it that speaks louder than noise, and that's the essence of a Sigma female. She listens deeply, speaks rarely, and when she does, the world leans in. Pause for a second. If you've been nodding through this part, drop a in the comments. I read them all. Seriously. It helps me know my Sigma females are actually listening, not just hearing. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Because this space, it's for women who think differently. Okay, ready? Let's get back. And this next one is powerful. 7. She's selective with her energy. She won't entertain drama or small minds. She protects her peace like it's sacred, because it is. A Sigma female understands that not everyone deserves access to her world. She's learned through experience that energy is a currency, and not everyone can afford hers. She's not arrogant. She's aware. She knows how draining it is to keep giving to people who only take, to explain herself to those committed to misunderstanding her, to fight battles that don't matter anymore. So now she moves differently. She chooses her conversations, her company, and her commitments with precision. She doesn't respond to every opinion, doesn't chase every opportunity, and doesn't engage in every argument. That's not indifference, that's maturity. She's reached a point where her peace matters more than her popularity. Men notice that about her immediately. They can feel how grounded she is, how steady her energy feels even in chaos. She's the calm in a room full of noise, the steady presence that doesn't get pulled into nonsense. She can sense drama before it even starts, and she exits quietly, without warning. She doesn't need to announce her departure or explain her silence. She just goes where the energy feels genuine. She's selective because she's been through too much not to be. She's seen what happens when she gives her heart to people who only show up halfway. She's learned that not everyone who smiles at her deserves her time. Some people come to drain, not connect, and she's not available for that anymore. She's mastered the art of letting go, of conversations that go nowhere, of relationships that take more than they give, of environments that dull her spirit. That's why her presence feels rare. She's not easily reachable, and that's not a game, it's protection. She knows her energy creates her reality, so she keeps it pure and intentional. She invests it in things that grow her, in learning, creating, healing, and becoming better every day. Men find that incredibly attractive because it's different. They're used to people fighting for attention, not guarding their peace. But she doesn't chase anyone. She chooses who gets to stand beside her, and if someone brings negativity, she removes herself without guilt. She doesn't argue. She withdraws. That quiet exit speaks louder than any confrontation. She knows peace is her superpower, and she guards it like treasure. Her vibe is calm, steady, and hard to disturb. It's not that she doesn't care, it's that she's careful. She refuses to match chaotic energy. She'd rather be alone in peace than surrounded by noise. She's mastered the balance between empathy and boundaries. She can care deeply and still say no. That's strength, the kind that doesn't shout but stands firm. Men see that and feel both respect and curiosity. They can tell she's not someone who can be played with or drained. Her energy is too refined, too aware, too valuable. She radiates peace because she's earned it through discipline, and that's why she's unforgettable. She's the kind of woman whose energy speaks before her words, whose presence heals more than it demands, and whose peace isn't just sacred, it's her signature. 8. A Sigma female is emotional, but never weak. Sigma females feel deeply, but they don't let emotions control them. Men pick up on that balance. It's both soft and strong. A Sigma female doesn't hide from her feelings. She allows herself to feel everything: joy, pain, love, disappointment. But she doesn't let those emotions dictate her decisions. She knows emotions are powerful signals, not instructions. She listens to them, learns from them, and then moves with intention. She's not ashamed of being sensitive, because she knows sensitivity isn't weakness, it's awareness. She feels deeply because she's alive, connected and present. But she's also disciplined enough to know when to step back, when to pause, when to breathe before reacting. That emotional control is what makes her different. She doesn't explode when she's angry. She reflects. She doesn't chase when she's hurt. She heals. She doesn't use emotions to manipulate. She uses them to understand. That's real strength. Men notice it instantly. They can sense that emotional depth in her, that quiet confidence in the way she handles situations. She doesn't suppress her feelings. She channels them. She turns heartbreak into wisdom, pain into power, and vulnerability into grace. That's why she stands out. She's not scared of tears. She just doesn't drown in them. A Sigma female can be soft without being fragile. She can care deeply and still know when to walk away. She can love someone fully and still choose herself when it's time. That duality confuses people because they expect either coldness or chaos. But she's neither. She's balanced. She's the calm storm that heals and humbles at the same time. Men are drawn to that because it's rare. They're used to seeing emotion as instability, but she shows them it can be strength. Her emotional maturity makes her unforgettable. She doesn't beg to be understood. She expresses herself with honesty, and then she lets go of what she can't control. She's not afraid of silence after honesty. She knows that peace comes after truth, even when truth hurts. She's been through enough to understand that not everyone deserves her vulnerability, so she chooses carefully who gets to see her heart. She doesn't open up easily, but when she does, it's real, raw, and sincere. That kind of openness isn't weakness, it's courage. She's learned that protecting her peace doesn't mean closing her heart. It means honoring her emotions without letting them rule her. Her empathy makes her gentle, but her boundaries make her strong. That balance between compassion and control gives her an aura of quiet authority. She can sit in pain without falling apart, forgive without forgetting, and love without losing herself. Men can feel that depth, even if they can't explain it. It makes them respect her because they see she's not ruled by impulse. She's guided by wisdom. She feels everything, but she chooses what deserves her reaction. That's power, the kind built from emotional awareness, not avoidance. A Sigma female proves that softness doesn't make you weak. It makes you real, and that balance between heart and strength is what makes her truly unstoppable. Hold up before we hit the last one. Tell me something. Has any of these truths made you see yourself differently? If it did, hit the like button and share this with another Sigma female who needs this reminder. Alright, the last one's my favorite, and it explains exactly why she never competes. She creates. 9. She never competes, she creates. While others chase validation, she's building her world quietly, and that's what truly draws men in. Her focus, her fire, her freedom. A Sigma female doesn't waste her time trying to outshine anyone. She knows there's no competition when you're in your own lane. She's not looking around to compare. She's looking ahead to create. She doesn't copy trends or follow crowds. She's too busy shaping something that's hers, her vision, her purpose, her path. She's not threatened by other women's success because she knows abundance isn't limited. She celebrates others, but never forgets her own mission. That's what sets her apart, while the world gets lost in comparison. She's not driven by applause. She's driven by growth. Men notice that kind of focus instantly. They see how she moves, calm, intentional, never rushed. She doesn't need to be the loudest or most visible. She wins in silence, letting her results do the talking. Her power is in her consistency. She's the type to turn pain into purpose and dreams into plans. She's not waiting for someone to hand her opportunities. She builds them, piece by piece, even when no one's watching, and that's what makes her magnetic. Her independence isn't rebellion. It's vision. She knows what she wants and isn't afraid to work for it. She's not playing games or fighting for attention. She's building an empire, whether it's her career, her art, her peace, or her purpose. Her fire comes from within, not from competition. She doesn't need to prove she's better. She just proves she's committed. That quiet dedication speaks louder than any boast could. Men find that intoxicating because it's rare. They're drawn to that kind of focus, the kind that doesn't revolve around them. She's not waiting to be chosen. She's already chosen herself. That confidence is what keeps her unshakable. She doesn't rush her journey. She trusts her timing. She knows creation takes patience, and she's willing to go slow to do it right. While others seek quick validation, she's playing the long game. Her satisfaction comes from progress, not praise. She doesn't need an audience to feel accomplished because her work is for her, not for approval. That's real freedom, and men can feel it. They can sense that she's not seeking anyone's permission to live fully. She moves with quiet certainty, and that's more powerful than any competition. She's not trying to fit in. She's building something worth standing out for. That creative independence makes her impossible to imitate. She inspires without trying. She leads without demanding. She simply is. While others chase relevance, she builds legacy. She's not here to win a race. She's here to build a world that reflects who she truly is. And in that world, peace and purpose come before pride. Men are captivated by that energy because it's untouchable. She's too focused on becoming her best self to be distracted by proving her worth. That kind of self-contained power makes her unforgettable. She never competes because she doesn't need to. She's already in a category of her own. Her life is her art, her work is her message, and her focus is her freedom. And that's exactly what makes a Sigma female unstoppable. But here's the real secret that stands above them all. She's unreachable unless she wants to be reached. That's her ultimate power. Men might be drawn to her beauty, her mind, or her vibe, but what truly keeps them hooked is that they can't have her, because she belongs to herself first. A Sigma female doesn't play hard to get. She simply is. She's not ignoring anyone for attention. She's genuinely focused on her own world. Her dreams, her peace, her goals come first. That energy is magnetic because it's so rare. She doesn't need to be chased to feel desired. She doesn't crave anyone's presence to feel whole. Men can sense that from miles away. She's not desperate for connection. She chooses it on her own terms. That choice, that control, is what keeps them intrigued. They can't predict her because she's not performing. She's real, raw, and rooted in self-awareness. Her worth doesn't depend on being wanted. She's not unreachable because she's cold. She's unreachable because she's complete. That independence confuses people who are used to power games. She's not playing one. She's already won. She doesn't seek validation in someone's pursuit. She finds satisfaction in her own growth. She knows the difference between attention and respect, and she never trades one for the other. Men find that almost intimidating but deeply attractive. It's not about arrogance, it's about alignment. She doesn't let anyone in who doesn't match her piece, and that boundary keeps her energy pure. That's the real secret. She's not hard to get, she's hard to deserve. And when she finally decides to open up, it's intentional. Her love isn't impulsive, it's deliberate. It's earned through consistency, honesty, and depth. Men who experience that kind of connection realize how rare it is because it's not rooted in need, but in choice. She's not chasing, not clinging, not performing. She's simply being, and that's enough. That's her power, the quiet kind that can't be touched or taken away. She belongs to herself first, and that's why everything she gives feels so real. So yeah, strong women don't flaunt their power. They embody it, every glance, every pause, every choice. It says something words never could. Men feel it, other women sense it. It's that aura, that invisible force that fills a room before she even speaks. She's not loud about her strength, but you can't ignore it. She doesn't demand respect. It naturally follows her. She moves with intention, with grace, with quiet fire. That's what makes her unforgettable. She's not chasing approval. She's walking in purpose, and in a world full of noise, that kind of stillness feels divine. So if any of these felt too real, tell me in the comments which one hit you hardest. And if you're one of those women who moves in silence but commands attention, this space is yours. Watch my next video on how Sigma women handle men who test their strength. Because your silence, it's not weakness, it's wisdom, it's power in disguise. It's your way of saying you don't need to prove what's already undeniable.